Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm bringing you the flavors of Morocco, and we're gonna cook a Moroccan dinner today. We're gonna cook chicken tagine with golden raisins and caramelized onions, and we're gonna serve this beautiful dish with buttery couscous. Chicken cooked in tagine is gonna come out so tender, and it's gonna have tons of flavors, and we're gonna enjoy it with this beautiful couscous. Let's get started. Before we start cooking, let's talk about tagine. Tagine is not just the name of the food, but also a vessel in which the food is cooked, in which food cooks gently in a small amount of liquid. Tagine is a pot, and it's usually a clay pot with a very unique conical lid that's designed to lock the moisture and the flavor of your food. So tagine is the must to cook this dish. For our dish, we're gonna need 2 medium sweet onions or 1 large one. We also gonna need 1.5 cups of golden raisins that we're gonna wash and dry. As far as the spices, we're gonna need 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric, 1/2 teaspoon of ginger, and 1/4 teaspoon of saffron. But if you want to bring some Middle Eastern vibe to this dish, just get this spice. It's called baharat, which means in Arabic spices, and it has all the spices that you need in this dish. Out of saffron, we're gonna make some saffron water. So I'm just gonna put in this cute little mortar with pastel. I'm gonna grind it to a very fine powder. Then we're gonna need some hot water, and saffron is a very expensive spice, so just dump this in a little pitcher, but also wash your mortar and your pastel, and then you can add it to your little jug and then add a little bit more water, and we have a saffron water. And of course, since we're cooking chicken tagine, we're gonna need some chicken, and I have 2 because I looked at one and it looked very small to me, and my tagine is big. It's almost 4 quarts, so I've decided I'm gonna use 2 whole chickens. But if you don't want to use whole chickens, you can just use chicken thighs or any chicken parts that you like. But I'm gonna section my chicken. I'm gonna remove all the parts that don't have a lot of meat on them. I'm gonna reserve those parts to make a chicken soup later on. So what I usually remove is the spine, and you remove this little ends of the chicken wings, and then we're gonna section this chicken into 6 parts. So we're just gonna remove the thighs, we're gonna cut the breast in half, and then we're gonna cut it in half again. As you can see, this job can be done very easily if you have a very sharp kitchen scissors. As you can see, I have all my chicken ready, and it doesn't look like it's going to be a dinner for 2. Then you need to combine all your spices, and you're just going to mix them together. It would be just easier to add spices to your dish when they're all combined. Then peel your onions, and as you can see, I'm using the sweet onions. I think sweet onions add a little bit more juiciness to your dish. But you could just use a regular yellow onions. Then you need to slice your onions, and I like to do the rings, but you can do the half moon if you don't like the rings in your dish, and you cut them not very thin, maybe like 1/4 of an inch thick. Now all we need to do is to assemble our tagine, and on the bottom of your tagine pot we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and we're gonna lay half of our onions on the bottom of the pot. Then add all your chicken, and don't be afraid to fill your pot to the rim. Since we're not using a lot of liquid in this dish, nothing is gonna get overspilled. Then add about 1 tablespoon of salt and some freshly ground black pepper. If it's not going to be salty enough, we can always add more later. Then add all your spices right on top of the chicken. Then continue with another layer of onions. Then add your golden raisins on top of the onions. And just to add a little bit more liquid to this dish and also color, we're gonna put some saffron water. Close the lid and our tagine is ready for some magic. Tagines usually cooked on open fire, not in the oven. So put it on the stove top and we're gonna cook it on medium heat for about an hour. In the meantime, we're gonna make our couscous, and we think of it as a grain, but it's actually a type of pasta. Couscous is a North African dish made from tiny steamed balls of semolina. It is a very delicate pasta, so we actually not gonna cook it. We pretty much just gonna heat it up. But before we do that, we need to wash it very well until the water runs clear. For 4 cups of couscous, we're gonna need 2 cups of boiling water and 1 teaspoon of salt. We're gonna dissolve our salt. Then you need to transfer your drained couscous into a shallow dish or like a big platter. Then we're gonna spread it around and we're gonna pour our boiling water with salt on top of it. Then we're just gonna mix it and we're gonna leave it for about 10 minutes. Then I had to pick in my tagine and see what's happening. This is cooking time 20 minutes. Let's go back to our couscous. As you can see, it absorbed all the water. And now we're gonna start flavoring it and fluffing it. So we're just gonna add 2 tablespoons of olive oil and we're gonna start fluffing this couscous up. And it's kind of interesting to see in Morocco, there just this clay dishes where they fluff the couscous and it looks really fluffy. And after that, we're gonna start cooking our couscous. I have to show you what a traditional couscous clay pot looks like. It's pretty much a double boiler where you steam the couscous. I don't have one, but I'm gonna imitate that steam action. In a shallow heat-proof dish, I'm gonna put wet parchment paper. On that wet parchment paper, we're gonna transfer our couscous and kind of layer it with butter because we're cooking a buttery couscous, remember? So add about 3 tablespoons of butter and then we're gonna continue with layering the couscous and we're gonna put additional 3 tablespoons of butter on top of the couscous. That's gonna add tons of flavor to our couscous and we're gonna cover it with another piece of wet parchment paper and we're just gonna seal the ends. Then it goes in preheated to 400 degrees Fahrenheit oven for just 10 minutes because we just need to heat it up. Okay, it's that peeking time again. We're at 45 minutes of our cooking and look at this. Our onions have softened up, our raisins have plumped up, the chicken released so much juices and the chicken is almost ready. So our tagine is almost ready. At this point you can taste the broth, adjust your seasoning. If you need more salt, add more salt. If you need more pepper, add more pepper. Close the lid and cook it for just another 15 minutes. Our couscous is coming out of the oven and if I lift this parchment paper, look at this. It's absolutely beautiful. It's so fluffy and buttery. You could serve your couscous as is in the dish that you cooked it in, but I've decided I have a very cute pot. I'm just gonna transfer it in the pot, and usually when the couscous is served, it's molded, and then it kind of just shaped into a cone. So I'm just gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna shape my couscous in the cone, and I'm gonna add some chips of garlic on top, or you can add almonds, and of course mint is a must. And tagine is usually served in this large one where it's been cooked or brought to the table in smaller tagines. and served with a side of couscous or just a flat bread. And look at this dish. It's absolutely gorgeous and it's so flavorful. We have this tender chicken, we have a very flavorful sauce, and buttery and fluffy couscous. I hope you liked this video, and I hope I brought a little taste of Morocco to your table. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you soon. Bye!